Switch.
There we go.
There we go.
That's not the
Hello.
right screen. Okay,
You
I
know,
even
it's-
got us unmuted. So
Bonus. You guys can hear us too. So welcome to Tuesday once again.
it's Tuesday again.
Time flies.
It does. Today was a crazy day.
So was yesterday.
Yes.
It has just been. They've all been crazy.
Every day.
I think it's just. I think we should rename every day Crazy Day.
Yes.
We'll just forget. They'll all be the same.
It's Crazy Tuesday.
Crazy every day. Tuesday.
Wow. So you're back.
Hi.
Yes, and you're like on the weird time zone.
Oh my God, I don't know what time it is. I'm so lost. My body doesn't know when to sleep and when to get up, and
Yeah.
it's crazy. I did have a wonderful vacation. Thank you, Shirley. I'm just so excited to be at work. I can't tell you.
I missed you. I'm so glad you're back.
I really am glad to be here.
It's
So
nice to
thank
be
you.
missed,
It
isn't it?
is nice
Yes.
to be missed,
You were
and I
definitely
really
missed.
do love my job. So I'm glad to be here, and
This is the fun part.
right. This is the longest I think I've gone in. I don't know how long without touching a sewing machine.
Yeah, because you didn't take one,
Well, there was nowhere to put it.
right?
Yeah,
You don't think that you could have like found a space at
I
Sam's?
probably could have gotten it in the car,
Right.
but
No place at Sam's.
definitely not. Mm-mm.
Do they have a little house, or do they just have a lot of stuff?
It's little.
Little, yeah.
Yeah, they have a little square dining room table that we never ate at, but we played Cards Against Humanity,
Oh, how fun.
and that was interesting.
Yeah.
So best part. So you guys may have seen the picture of my husband. Don't tell him I did that. He does not know yet that I posted a picture of us. He's like, God, that's his like golden rule is no pictures of him on social media. So he doesn't know about that yet. But he looks like Santa. So he's got this big white beard. And we bought Cards Against Humanity.
Mm-hmm.
He got carded. He got carded at Target.
Did he feel good about that?
Oh, he was just like,
Really?
yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly. He was like, they were like, yeah, I got to swipe it. Oh my God, I rolled. I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I'm like, you see the white, right? that's
not dyed.
That's not dyed. That's not blonde. That's really white.
That's too funny.
It was absolutely adorable. But yeah, and then we bought like a family edition, and then we bought just this little dad pack. So I think the dad pack is what made him get carded. I don't think it was the family edition, because that was like the safety, the safe version.
Yeah.
And then I went back and bought more because we played twice, and we went through all of those cards, and we were like, we need variety here, and so I went back and I bought an everything box.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get carded. So I'm thinking it was the dad pack.
Yeah.
I think they didn't have the regular pack. They were all out.
Mm.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to buy in Flagstaff. Which reminds me, before you leave, I have some things for you.
Oh. So we kind of have a fun thing today.
Yes,
it's been
we're
a
gonna
while.
play.
Yeah, we haven't really talked a lot about
Some of what the fun things that the
machine.
machine can do. So, it's been a little bit since we talked high tech stuff. So we're gonna go a little high tech today.
A little high tech, yeah. I think in honor of spooky deals coming. So there is a fantastic Halloween deal on.
Really is.
We're gonna show it on this hilarious, but there's a fantastic deal
It's a
coming on the
brother-
Luminary. We
There
totally
is
have our crap
actually
together.
some Babylock stuff. It's just not called spooky
No.
deals. There is also some Babylock specials.
Yes.
But just because you may or may not have noticed, we rearranged behind us.
Super
so
cute,
we have
yes.
a little bit new decor
Yeah.
back there. So Carolyn worked, since I didn't have a sewing
Yes.
machine. She made this adorable new bench pillow for us. So that is up, and the lights are actually all in there. She and Hayden commiserated yesterday and
Look at
poked
how
those through.
Cute your quilting designs are, though.
They came out really, really well. So I don't know if I can reach any of the where's the switch? Not on the end I'm at. Here we go. So there's half of it.
Look.
They have all of the little lights.
Yeah.
And there's 2 strings of lights. So that's just half of them. There's another one on that side. And so I did get the designs put onto our website. If you missed the free versions, you can purchase them if you would like. And there are, I don't know what you would call them, general designs, I guess. So there's both this size and borders and 3-inch borders that are general. So if you
Christmas
have
and
other-
non-Christmas,
Christmas and generic,
There we go. Generic, that's the
that's
word.
good. If you need other pillows done, they're in there too. So those are on the website under SnL Quilting up there too. So
Cool.
if you missed the bonus,
I'll link those.
they are
in a little while.
available to
I have
to
been able
download.
do that today.
And there's I looked at Kimberbell's just to out of curiosity, and they have the one design for the main squares. They have the 1-inch border and the 1 3-inch border. I have like seven borders. There's a whole bunch of different ones. So ours are a little bit more than Kimberbell's, but you're getting a lot more options and things in there. So it's only $19.95 though. So still super super comparable. Actually way better. Way better. Yeah.
Sounds
Hi.
fun. Yeah.
That's the store.
And
So-
we have quickly club classes tomorrow. So
Yep. So I'm hoping to get an email sent out before I go home tonight. That'll
Buttonholes.
just, yeah. She's super excited. So you're going to talk about all the different, because there's a couple different ones depending upon
Yeah.
your machine. So the different ones, and I don't know, maybe throw in a little bit about embroidery ones too, because those are in there. That might liven it up.
Yeah, might liven it up a little bit.
Just give you a little something, something.
Just as a general, there will not be a YouTube video on the buttonhole feet, basically because they come with the machine. So there won't be anything special. And we've kind of done buttonholes.
And there's,
here.
we've talked about them already a little bit here. And so there's not a whole lot video wise to add
No.
to that, but she's going to cover them. If you have questions on them, be able to ask
Mhm.
individually about, how your specific machine one works or those kinds of things.
Yes.
Maybe some things that you could add to support,
Yes.
or things like that. If you are having some issues,
Yes.
those kinds of
And
wonderful little questions.
We'll do a live buttonhole. Woo! It's riveting.
And I have the sample cut. It is super cute. Unfortunately, I literally was running until 2 seconds before we went live. I have it, but it's on the other side of the store, and our wonderful, helpful Hayden is not here
not
at the
here to grab
moment,
it.
so I don't have anybody to grab it. So you'll have to log in and see it
Mhm.
at class.
And you can
So,
just join that Zoom
You
link
can join
as
that
well.
Zoom link. It's completely free. And I will be sending out, like I said, that email. It will have her links and my links. And both of those are completely free this month. There's no charge. You can just pop in, learn a little bit of nuggets here and there,
Mhm.
and enjoy. And
I had chicken nuggets for dinner yesterday. Nuggets.
nuggets. But yeah, so
Yeah.
it'll be a nice, fun month. It turned out super cute. And so mine is going to start off with Canvas Workspace and how to take a file that looks super confusing and simplify it and make it super easy to use. And then we'll cut it because it's super riveting to cut paper. We're the really great nugget is how to take
Take it
that
apart.
file and take it apart and make it super easy to use.
Absolutely.
And then building it back up into a 7-layer cake.
7-layer cake. of
Yum!
paper.
I'm hungry.
Mhm.
Okay.
Little extra fiber. Miss Pam, great that you're on. Your USB stick is ready. I got that all taken care of for you. It was on my list to email you, and now you know.
Now you know. There you go. So yeah, that's what's been happening around here. So yesterday was super crazy. I was hoping to get some other things done, and that didn't quite work.
It was Monday madness.
Monday madness happens all the time. So but yeah, we didn't get what we planned to do done this afternoon, but that's okay. Maybe tomorrow.
Mhm.
There's always another day until there's not.
Right.
So
So Cindy wants to know how she can sign up for the classes. I'll put a link. So when we get going on here, and it doesn't look like I'm being rude going over here, I'll link the classes and your quilting designs.
Yep.
so that you can
And-
go right there. It'll have the link.
That's fantastic. And then also, if you are on our email list, you will get an email tonight that you can just click on a link. There's not an actual sign up
Mm-hmm.
for this month's. It's literally just click and join the Zoom class.
Yep.
And there's no charge. So there's not an actual sign up this time around for those. And if you are not already on our email list, you can do that right on our website at the bottom of the homepage.
It'll be at the
and it'll
bottom
be
of the place that I send you,
right
which
there.
is different than the place that you shop.
Not to confuse
Not to
anybody or
confuse
anything.
anybody. No, we're not
Um,
confused at all.
No. So yeah, if you aren't getting our emails, and we are not one of those places that are going to send you one like every day or multiple times a day. That's totally not our shtick. So don't be afraid to add us to your list of people, because we're at the most generally a one a week, maybe
Yes.
more like 1 or 2 a month.
We're always
Every now and then
yes,
we might do 1 a week.
because there might be extenuating circumstances. We have
You
stuff
know,
coming
construction,
up. Yeah, things that pop up.
things that pop
unexpected.
up, but we really don't bombard your inbox. So
No.
don't be afraid
We
that
know you
we're
have
gonna,
other
nail
things going
a
on.
whole bunch of emails and just be like, oh God, not another one. So that's not us.
No.
They're generally very long,
Yeah.
but there's not a whole lot of them. So
We might be worried.
maybe. Can you tell? So yeah, if you aren't already on there, go ahead and sign up, and then that will give you all of that information as well. And like I said, I will have that email go out this afternoon. So,
All right.
or this evening, I guess, probably by the time it happens. By the time it happens.
So,
So,
let's get right into it.
let's
So,
get into it.
I'm
So-
going to move the camera over, and then Lisa's going to talk to you about the different. She's going to show you some stuff underneath the camera, and then we're going to show you how it actually works. So, this camera and click.
So what am I doing?
So,
Just kidding. Okay, so this is the scanning mat, and this is going to come with the 10 needle machines. So the multi-needle with 10, not the 6s. It's going to come with a Destiny or a Dream, 1 or 2, doesn't matter which. It's going to come with the Solaris 1 and 2 and the Luminaire 1 and 2. It's also going to come with, I'm trying to think. It does come with the Stellaires.
the scanning mat?
Yeah.
No.
Does it? It doesn't.
It doesn't,
'Cause they
'cause they
just
use
take the
the app.
picture. They use the
Yes.
app. Okay. So those are the machines that you're going to get the actual scanning mat. The green things that you see here are magnets. And the idea behind your magnet is it's going to keep things from shifting as you are actually scanning. The one thing to absolutely not do when you're using this is to cover up that black line that you see at the top. So how do I know this? Well, because I've covered it up and everything doesn't work. So, and I'm like, why isn't this working? And I was completely baffled. And Sarah came along. She was like, yeah, you got that covered up. She actually read that somewhere or something. I skipped that part of the manual, evidently. So this bottom section down here is where you're going to place whatever it is that you would like to create into an embroidery design or create as a background to stitch onto. So I've got a couple different coloring pages that I just printed off of the internet. So you know that neither Sarah or I like superhero type things. So this is Wonder Woman because we both really don't like her. And this is a little bit more complicated Mandela design that I just happened to come across. And the reason that I have that is you can very, very clearly see the difference in complexity of these designs. So I'm just going to pull that up a little bit more. You can see, especially on the edges, we've got a lot of really thin, lighter. And then once you come into the middle, you've got a lot of really tight lines in there as well. This is going to be a much more complex design than, say, a very simple drawing of Wonder Woman here. Would everybody agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, right? So this is not by any stretch of the imagination a crazy whole lot going on design when it comes to this. So this is a question that we get asked all of the time. What is the machine capable of doing? So it can certainly take a picture and create a design based on what it sees. What it can't do is create a design if the picture is too complex. So we're going to get parts of this mandala. I'm going to stab in the dark and say that the little bits here in these lighter lines are not going to probably come through. And the specks here in the center, I'm going to guess are going to be more like a solid line than they would be a separated line. You want to add anything to that, or would you pretty much agree with what
I totally agree with that. Yes.
So we'll see the big picture of that. What we're going to lose are the tiny details in the middle is kind of what's going to happen. So I like to compare, I guess is maybe a good word.
Yeah.
The built-in design center IQ designer in these machines to an auto digitizing piece in a software. So when you pull something in, it's kind of the best that it can do, but it's maybe not even quite up to par as what your software could do in an auto digitizer. It's maybe one notch down from where your auto digitizing is going to be in your software. So you certainly can't take a picture of yourself or your best friend or even your dog and have that come across and get all of those details in the embroidery machine. It is simply not capable. It doesn't have the computing power to come up with those stitches and create that as a design in the embroidery machine. You absolutely would need a full-blown software to do so. What it can do is see the simplistic lines, such as this coloring book image here. Now, you do need to be careful, of course, with copyrights and all of those things, as long as you're doing something for yourself. I'm just saying this for legality's sake. Absolutely. I am not suggesting that you print out a whole bunch of things online and then create them and then go sell them, because that is not what I'm proposing. And by no stretch of the imagination do I think that you should do that, or am I telling any of you to go do that now? So no, don't go do that. But I am just suggesting that you can find some very simplistic images and create some very nice things for your own personal use. And that is where you can find some really great things. I like to do searches of a silhouette of or black and white image of, fill in the blank, whatever it is that you're looking for. Both of these, I did a search of coloring book image of. Those are also going to be usually a fairly simplistic piece. This one, I literally use the word mandala. Mandalas can be quite crazy, or they can be fairly simplistic. You just kind of don't know. But mandalas can be very, very detailed, which are great for coloring if you're actually physically coloring them. Not necessarily so much when you are actually trying to create them into an embroidery design. So that is some coloring book images. So once again, on the scanning mat, you can put that on the base. You can use the magnets. I try not to use any more magnets than I absolutely need, because I'm going to turn that so you guys can see a little bit better. I'm going to have to remove that out of my image. So I don't want to have, you know, a magnet here. I want to make sure that I don't have any more than I have to, because I want to zoom in and remove those out of the picture window, for lack of a better description. Yep. So even though I have 6, I absolutely never use all 6 when I'm scanning. That's for when you lose one.
Yes, right.
At least in my opinion.
You probably, I mean, I've never had a piece of paper actually need that many.
Nope.
So it's
honestly, one is usually enough,
right.
To be honest. Sometimes I try it without any to begin with. It just depends. And for those of you who are scanning, if you have an app machine that has the design center or the IQ designer, your hoops would have the stickers on them, and you would take a picture. You could take a picture of the coloring book image on your hoop.
Yeah, just
as long as you're not covering the stickers. The stickers are what give it the size and the shape.
I have a little one with
so we have a Brother XJ1 on the floor here that we can show you whatever you would like, Miss Cindy. In stock, I have the Brother XE1. If you are looking to go home with one,
the picture of the stickers.
And this is what those stickers would look like. So they are literally right on the hoops at the top and the base, and they are on the top portion of that. So you would put whatever it is that you are doing in the hoop, and then this would go inside that. So if you had this as your larger hoop, you could put your coloring book image in the center, take a picture of that, and then send a photo over to the machine into the design center.
Yeah, or just plop that over top of like the mandala so they can like see what it would look like in the center. So basically that's what you would do. You would make sure that you're placing your hoop, the coloring book image underneath, and then putting your hoop over top of it. And your hoop might be bigger than your coloring book page. That's okay.
That's okay. As long as what you're seeing inside that hoop is what that image would pick up then inside of the design center.
So it says she has one.
Okay.
So if you were doing it this particular way and you use that app, the only thing, some of the picture would get cut off.
Yep. In this particular hoop.
Yeah.
So let's say I was doing this and I wanted to take a picture. I don't even actually need the back. I would take and do this to take that picture.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would then have to work with as my photo that I am importing into the app that would then import into the machine.
Yes.
And I don't need the scanning mat. It just happens to be there.
Right. Because you don't get
You don't have a scanning mat.
Only...
what you're using is the stickers that are on the frame itself.
Yes.
That's what your app is seeing to pull in and recognize and use.
Mm-hmm. And it's important to pay attention to the direction, because if your hoop is upside down.
Yeah, that little arrow that's there needs to be pointing up. Otherwise, when it imports it, the photo would be upside down.
Yes.
Okay, so that is the Stellaire and the Altair and Meridian machines.
Mm-hmm.
How that works, that is how the scanning frame works. Again, you cannot cover up that black bar at the top. So if your fabric or whatever it is that you're scanning is oversized, you need to make sure that it's folded so that it's below that bar. Ask me how I know.
Yeah, I remember us having that conversation.
I was just like, why isn't this working? All right, so this is just a standard hoop because we are sitting in front of the Solaris, which has a camera, so we don't need the stickers. All right, and this is one of the Dream Big panels that's not super big.
Yes.
All right, and what we have here is one of the pastel colors. Again, it's a little bit smaller. So what we can do is we can scan this image in. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to put this in. Sometimes what you see is clearer than others, depending upon the colors that you have in whatever your fabric is. So we'll cross that bridge in a minute.
Yes.
All right, ready?
Yeah. There's orange fuzz. I don't know what it is. I think it's orange felt because I think it was on the cutting counter.
Yeah. Trying hard not to hit anything that I'm not supposed to hit.
Yeah. Oh, that's the hoop that's tough.
Well, it's one of them.
Yes.
I think there's more than one of those floating around.
All right.
All
so
right.
we have the hoop in.
The hoop is in, and we have tapped the IQ design button on the screen. Or actually, Sarah has. Your turn to talk.
And then we need to scan it. So I'm going to tap the little button at the top over here. It has a little picture of a fern leaf. And so I'm going to tap that, and then I'm going to get some options over here. And when we were talking about your different choices of things that you can have that you want to pick and choose from, this is image scan, this is line scan, and this is illustration. And basically, for this one, we would do image because there's no real good defined lines.
Right. So in image is I just want the picture of what's in my hoop to pop on screen so I can create based on that.
Mm-hmm.
A line is basically what we had from these. It's going to literally create these lines. So those are a line image. I would want it to create those lines as best as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And that would create stitch lines, which I could either color in or not color in.
Right.
All right. in illustration, I like to describe, especially when we're basing it on coloring. I just dropped all of those magnets. Especially when we're talking coloring pages, an illustration would be a colored in coloring page. So colors in addition to the black line.
Yes. And you could do, you can do them interchangeably. Like you can do a colored photo as lines and you can do a black and white photo as fill.
Absolutely.
It's just going to just see those two, like a black and white picture. It's only going to see black and it's only going to see white. It's not, or maybe shades of gray, depending on how good your picture is.
Depends on what it is.
That's right.
But you do have to remember that thread is not the same as ink.
Right.
And I think that's where we run into a lot of confusion for people that don't necessarily understand digitizing is you can't make thread do the same thing you can make ink do.
No.
And so when you have an adorable photo of or coloring page from your grandson and there's, you know, he did everything in red and there's like 12 different shades of red because he colored heavier over here than he did over here. But boy, that apple's cute.
Yes.
It's not going to look like that when you go to fill it in because there's no way for you to shade all of that in this system. Now you could get much closer if you were actually digitizing in a full-blown system and you were using feathering and that's a whole nother different ball of wax.
Yeah.
But this can't do that. Cindy, to answer that question, yes, this system will then turn in that photo of whatever it is into an embroidery design. That's what this whole piece is. So an image is not going to create an embroidery design. It's going to create an image that we can use as a backdrop to trace from to create an embroidery design. Or the line image is going to create basically a black outline of whatever we see that you could of course put in whatever color thread you want. Doesn't have to be black. But yes, so that's basically what we're doing. Applique doesn't quite, you have to get a little bit more creative to create an applique in here, but you can do it. It's just a few more steps.
Yeah. And today our goal is to talk about the 3 different types of things that
you can do in here.
Right. And how each one of them can change. And we'll scan more than one thing so that you can see that.
Yep.
What we aren't going to do today is we're not going in to the design center and we're not creating and inputting all of the stitches. That's another day.
Yeah.
This is just
we just want you to see how the scanning piece works and how you can import things, what works, what totally doesn't work, and what you can expect from that.
Exactly.
In a realistic aspect.
So I'm going to start with this one with an image scan. So we're going to tap the image scan button and we're going to get this picture here on this particular machine. It's asking me 2 things. It's asking me to convert an image to a line or fill image, scan the design with the scanning frame so that your information can retrieve appropriate color information. It's assuming that you are scanning from paper. If you're scanning from fabric, you would not put your fabric unless it was substantially smaller on that scanning frame.
On that scanning frame.
Because like Lisa said, it'll give you issues. And then it just wants to know, you could also import your image. So if you had an image saved from someplace, you would be able to do that. So, but we're going to just hit the scan button. And it's just a reminder that this is going to move. So that means make sure that you have all of your stuff.
So, you know, you're away from the wall. The girls are not in the way, you know, all of those things, because it's going to move everything in the full range of that, whatever size you have in there. It's not going to be, you know, a 4x4 frame in general. And so you're going to need clearance around that piece. And they did make it so that these top of the line machines can also use an app to pull in from your phone and send an image from the phone too. So that was that last wireless option. So, wow, that's a really dark, beautiful image. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, it's near impossible
so
to see.
You guys saw that beautiful pastel flower that was in the frame underneath the camera originally over on the other camera. So can't you see it now?
We have some options to try to darken up what we have in the back. And so and this may or may not work. Sometimes it will work enough, but you can see, you're starting to see a little bit of shading going on. And that's actually pretty good. I am going to zoom in just a little bit to try to get rid of some of that glare.
All right, I just wanted to check. Thank you. Yep,
So here we do have a picture, and that's actually,
It's actually pretty good.
it's better than I thought it was going to be.
So there's a little bit of the really light edges.
Like in this general area here, it's a little bit harder to see.
Yeah, and like where the middle petals there are,
Mhm.
they're almost white where they meet. That's a little bit difficult to see. If you go too dark, then you lose when you're actually working with the image. You lose the visual of where you're clicking.
Yes.
So you have to have the ability to kind of mesh those two things.
Mhm.
So what should we do if we can't see those lines?
We can trace our lines with like the water soluble pen, because again, we can only go so dark. So you could use something like this is just a water soluble one, or you could choose a chalk pencil.
Yeah, but something that would give you a darker line that will then go away later.
Later, that's right.
That you could then visually see. So you're going to darken up those lighter edges
Mhm.
in there, so that when you're clicking later
Yes.
on, you actually can see where you want to click.
Yes. And so I just want to point out one thing. We aren't really going to start clicking around it.
Right.
But so when I draw this line right now, you can see it. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. So you can see that black line that I drew in.
Yep.
Now, if I go all the way over here and make my screen as dark
dark
as
as
I possibly
possible.
can,
You can see the flower better, but where you clicked and where your drawing disappears.
yes, it's not there. And this is oftentimes what happened is the file that we have there, it's no longer has any opacity to it.
Right.
It's
it's
solid.
taking up all of the color on the screen, so you can't see
Right.
any
So
other.
no matter how many times I draw on this page, I'm not going to be able to see what I'm doing. So oftentimes, this is the time you get the phone call, right? I can't see anything.
see what I'm doing, or my line disappeared, and we're like, well, we can't see your screen either, so it's really hard to fit. But all we have to do is lighten that background up, and oh wow, yep, there it is. I didn't mean to do all of those.
Yes.
Oh crap.
So if you are working at all the way at full the solid
full color,
then you have to trust that your lines are going to be there, and or you have to toggle down every so often to double check sure
where you were at,
that your lines are actually going where you want them to be. And sometimes you do need it to be that dark, because that's just
whatever the color is, you really do need to have that there for that visual.
Yes.
So when you are doing that clicking, one of the things that I always do at this point is use a mouse.
Yes.
And one of the things that helps with is then I have a mouse pointer.
Yes.
So I can always see where I'm clicking, where with my finger, I can't see where I'm clicking. Even if I'm always at the darkest color,
yes,
I can't see where it is. But with a mouse pointer, even if I can't see the dot or the line, I can at least see where the click is going.
Yes.
And so if you need that darker color, having the mouse plugged in is going to give you that aid for visualization beyond anything that you'll be able to do with your stylus or anything else. So it's going to give you a visual on screen that you can see to continue forward with at least some help.
Absolutely.
So I don't do anything in the design center anymore without a mouse regardless, but
it's nice to have that.
It's definitely when it comes to having, if you really need that really dark color for visual whatever, it definitely is a necessity.
And it does need to be
a corded, cheap,
non-fancy. If it's a USB 3, it's not gonna work.
Not gonna work. So go to Walmart, find the oldest, the dustiest box you can find, or go to Myers or wherever it is that you shop. I know a lot of people don't like, they have, nope, I won't shop there or whatever. Don't buy it on Amazon, because most likely you're going to get what you don't need. You have no control over what's going to come. But go, Meijer, Target, one of those places where you can physically see what you're getting. And, $6.95 or somewhere in that price range, $10 or less. Or if you have an old desktop computer that came with a corded mouse, and I mean actually corded, not wireless with a USB port, actual cord, that's what you
That's
need.
what you need. Yeah.
And those old Microsoft or whatnot mice are exactly what you need for those. So those are the kind that you need to find. So dig out those old boxes, and I know I have one here somewhere.
Absolutely.
That's what you need for that. Or maybe your embroidery machine came with one, because there was a little run on machines that actually came with a brother or whatnot mouse. That would be a great one to use there too.
Yeah. So to summarize what the image is that is exactly what it does. When we scanned this, it did not create any type of stitches. All it did was it scanned the image and it laid the image in the background.
Yep.
So that I could apply stitches over top of it.
Yep. So that you can see where they would go in true accurate size based on what is in your hoop.
Yes.
So go ahead and hit next on screen just so that they can see. The only thing that's going to be created here are those lines. Get rid of your background picture. So you can see on that screen
I did
now.
a really good job.
Those are beautiful flowers. So all that's there, again, this was the image scan. The only thing that's on screen now, the only stitch that was created were the lines that she just drew by dragging her finger on screen. Image scan only creates an image as a background picture on the screen. It creates absolutely no stitches. So that is the number one top of that option. And all of the machines that have these systems have all three options. How you get there might be slightly different, but the options are the same. So image scan is simply going to create that picture on the screen. That's it. No stitches are being created.
Yes. So let's get out of this and hit the cancel button. And I didn't cancel. I have to hit the OK button. I know, right? And then
So
let's
easy.
put one of those on there. So maybe we do Wonder Woman, because we could do that one twice. Because we could do that one as color, and because of her hair, and black and white. Maybe they can see the difference.
All right. Who knew it was going to be a workout to put a hoop in now? All right. So once again, I'm putting in the scanning frame, and I have the Wonder Woman image magneted. That's a word, right?
That's totally a word. Yeah.
Absolutely a word. So just a magnet on the top and the bottom to keep that from shifting.
And then, so you can see there she is. And then
in all her glory. She's got it going on there.
I don't think anybody got sick.
All right, so we're going to hit the IQ in our fern leaf. And let's go ahead, do line.
Yeah.
All right, so again, this is a very simple image.
And this comes up no matter what you're doing.
Yep. Oh, what'd we hit? We're going to reboot. Because that's always fun. We must have hit something.
Welcome to live.
We have a lot of cords, so there must be something we've bumped that, whoops. Sorry about that, guys. One more time. There we go.
I'm like, can I duplicate that?
I know, right? If it happens twice, there's something else going on. It's like, it's not moving. What'd we do? If it's breakable, you'll break it, right?
I know. I have this great ability. We ran into the mat back there. Great ability to mess up electronics. It's my gift.
That magnetic personality.
Totally.
Absolutely. Dunk. No, it has to know what's on there. Why does it go up?
I know. At least it's quicker.
Dunk. All right. And it's got to think for a second. And boom, look how beautiful that is.
Yeah, so let's zoom in just a little so they can get a little bit better picture.
All right, so you can very clearly see the green.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the magnets. We don't want those to be created. So we are on the framing the image page. At the bottom, I don't know if you guys can see that super clear, but it says grayscale detection. So on the grayscale, you can actually adjust that based on how well the image came out. So sometimes your image is better than others. And if you have a lot of fuzz in the image, you can add or remove that grayscale based on how good or bad your image is to help you either get rid of fuzz or clarify based on whatever it is that you need.
And you just kind of base that off of how this picture
How that
looks.
picture is.
It looks
So
pretty clean,
it looks actually really good. But we don't want that green in there. So you're going to drag your arrow up, and then at the bottom, we're going to drag it down so we can get rid of that top one. All right. And now the only thing that's inside of our red box is Wonder Woman herself. She's beautifully framed. At the bottom, we've got that stitch. So the stitch line in this machine does allow us to choose what type of stitch that we would like those lines to be. We have a satin stitch as the default. We can make it a running stitch. We can make it a triple stitch. You can literally do whatever you would like.
You can make it no stitch, which I haven't quite figured out why you might want to do that.
Yay.
But it's an option. It's not a good option.
Maybe that you can color it in without having an outline.
Maybe.
Because you can't do that later.
Maybe.
That's not an option later to choose no sew. That's the only thing I can think of. But
mostly if I'm doing a line object, I want my lines.
Yeah.
So I just
so we have running stitch, which
running
is
stitch.
nice. But that does have an under sew line on there too. So and it looks pretty good. So when we click OK, it's going to think for another minute. We get that lovely little circle. It shows you what it's going to be. So you do get a sample. Again, we can do a grayscale adjustment if need be. So
I know you can't see your head, but
that's okay.
we
can
see down here.
So, what we're looking for here is to make sure that that's completed. Now, you have to remember this was a super simple piece. So there's not a lot that's going on here. So it's doing a very, very good job of what it's got there. There's nothing super crazy happening here. So we can very easily do this. We could adjust if we wanted to, but there's really nothing.
Should we just set?
I think we should just keep going. So once we have that, it's going to move forward. Now we can see the original image behind it, which is why you see a little bit of gray behind there. That is our coloring at the top, which I know you can't see. We can darken that.
You get your
magnets come back in
as well, and then I'll just
you can completely go away, and we have just that image. Now at this point, we could actually color it in and create fill stitches. If you were creating something for maybe an embroidered coloring book for a kid that you're using washable markers that is on fabric that they get to color, and then you throw it in the wash and they get to color it all over again another day. How much fun is that?
Right.
I mean, options are endless, right? So you could literally create a coloring book of their favorite character just by creating these line items. And as long as you're not selling it, it's not illegal. So again, I'm not a suggestion that you sell any of this. So, but this is a super simple design that you literally could just do a running stitch and then create whatever you want. It could be a pillowcase because it's not a heavy stitch. It certainly wouldn't hurt to put your head on at night and sleep. So you could really have a lot of fun. In the editing here, we have just that line. We don't have any fill stitches. So we see what it would look like stitched out. And there doesn't appear to be any missed stitches at all.
No, it actually looks
it's
really good.
Very, very clear lines.
That never happens.
No, look at that
Hey,
picture.
we're living right today.
So I did something right this morning. How early I got up and everything's just falling into place.
See?
Woo!
Early bird catches the worm. That's what they say, right? I think that
I
works.
don't like worms.
No, but it makes your day go better. You got what you wanted.
I did. Look at that. So anyway, this is
She's trying to do dump trucks. That is not what I thought that said.
I don't want to know what you think that said. But so the more simplistic, of course, like we said, the better you're going to have those end results. The better your printer is. you know, make sure that your cartridge is decent. If you have a shady image coming out of your printer, it's not going to look real clean. You're going to have a shady image coming out. But seriously, I mean, if you're
junk in, junk out.
That is, unfortunately, that is the truth and how this goes. So you do need really clean images. The nice thing about how these work, your stellaires, your meridians, your Altairs, the Solarises, the Luminaires do all have the ability to pull in an image. So you don't even have to print. You can just pull right off of, save it onto your phone or your iPad, whatever it is that you have the app on that you're using, and send that image over. So you don't degrade the image by printing. So
That's
you're getting
another day.
that, yes, but I mean, that wireless piece there allows you to do that without degrading the image from printing, because that happens, unfortunately. Printers can be the issue. On the perfect example is, here is the edge. What's missing?
Yeah,
part of my little swirl got cut off because of the print area that's on there. If I had that sent over, it would still be there.
Right.
So the printer can sometimes be your problem. And sometimes that's just the way that it is. So
let's return here, cancel again, and we're going to bring that up again.
One more time. Let's do that again.
Yes. And so let's do the illustration design this time.
All right.
And again, the stuff that Lisa is talking about is all right here.
Right.
So instead of hitting the scan button from here and having it over there, you would just pick that image from wherever you might have
wherever
it
you
stored.
have that. If it's on a USB, you would choose the USB logo. If it's on your phone and you are using an app, you would choose the wireless, the 3 bars there, and pull it in off the app. And it's that simple.
Exactly.
And then again, you don't have that degraded image from printing whatever it is that you're having that issue from. So fortunately, Wonder Woman evidently has good karma as well, because she printed beautifully. So
she did.
Go figure.
So we'll hit that scan button again.
And
I did it again. I don't know what I'm hitting.
Bump?
I don't know.
We're rebooting again, so consistency is solid.
Yeah,
I like to be consistent.
Something is definitely.
That's okay.
Precarious over here.
Tony. No, just kidding.
I wrote it.
Let's do that again. He's laughing at us.
I made the sewing machine
rebooted
twice when I hit the scan button. I'm not sure what I'm unplugging. I think maybe
bumping.
I'm electrically charging it.
We're bumping something, but you know, that's what happens when you go live.
That's right.
If it can't happen, it will.
Well,
good old Murphy.
I really should have moved that after the last time, but the little rubber mat. It didn't seem to affect the image. Maybe that's what made it work so well.
Maybe. Dunk. All right, so here she goes. We just need to.
Do you want to talk about this at the bottom, the maximum number of colors?
We can. So if you are, let's say you're a 10 needle owner and you've pulled in a design that has, 15 colors or what appears to be 15 colors. And you're like, yeah, nope, I'm not changing threads. It's got to fit on my 10 needle in one shot. You can tell it you have you only want a maximum of 10, and it will reduce so that you only have 10 color changes based on whatever it can pull in. So that's that first set there, is that all the way to the left, max number of colors. You can adjust that down. The line is exactly what it looks like, is how heavy is your line image going to be.
Yep.
And
do you mess with these?
Not
or
generally.
I usually leave everything the way it is.
Unless it doesn't work.
Unless it doesn't work.
And then I go back and I try it something else.
Something else, yes.
So
there we go.
But yeah, I just leave those generally as is.
And do you
Um,
typically remove the background?
It depends on what the image is.
Mhm.
So sometimes I want a background, in which case, nope. And it literally depends on what the image is.
But we always want to
But
take
we always
out
want to remove the magnet.
and as much extra space,
Extra
right?
space. So like for instance, maybe we want to make sure it's a closed image and we want to be able to color in her legs for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
We would want to move that bar up so that it is at the leg cutoff, so that we otherwise we
Like
would have
make
to
it in
we
the,
would have to draw a line at the bottom to be able to fill that in.
Yep.
We're good at the moment.
Yeah. I
Wait, just wait a minute till she touches something else, and then we'll let you know. So basically what we're discussing is if we wanted to fill this in with other colors, if we were actually creating a filled design for whatever reason, the bottom of the legs you can see are open. There's not a line filling that. So we moved up that bottom little bit there so that it would basically cut off the design above where those lines are, which closes the box,
yes.
for lack of a, wow, that sound, never mind. Let's move forward.
Because basically, if the area is open, you can't fill it, right? It's gonna spill out.
So if
It's
if it's a circle that's closed, then we can fill it like a bucket
yes.
and dump it in a bucket.
Mm-hmm. But if
The bucket has a hole in it, then it just
everywhere.
dumps everywhere else. And so basically, without having a foot at the bottom of there's a hole in the bucket. Exactly. Dear Liza, let's move forward now. So we're going to think a little bit, and it's going to then fill in what it sees. So it takes another few minutes when it's an illustration because it has to think a little bit harder. We're going to zoom back out so you can see a little bit more. You'll notice it's taking a few more minutes. It's got to create all of those stitches for her long mane of hair there. I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
There we go.
So
it didn't work real well, did it?
Not as well as I expected it to be. So maybe let's do some line imaging a little bit heavier.
So you can see this is like one of those things. Like we totally expected this to be.
I mean, it worked out great the first time, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? So let's see if we bump up that line, what happens?
Try it again. Do you want to go more?
Retry. I don't know. Because I think I don't know what we had.
We had nothing.
Do. And now we wait again. We were talking about that Night at the Museum movie, and I can't remember why. Dum dum, where's my gum gum? I'm thinking. There's lots of really. That is
getting better.
Great. Really, really great. Yep, that does look better.
But it's still not great.
No.
So should we try and bump it again?
Sure. This is what we were talking about. Maybe decrease colors. Does that matter?
Maybe.
This is the whole part of, just keep messing with it. So the other
black and white, basically, right?
That's all we want. The other thing, of course, with this is the other image was so beautifully perfect.
Mm-hmm.
We could have just dumped black in her head.
Yes.
And darkened her hair. We could have given her, blue pants with white stars and so on and so forth.
But that's much better.
But wow, look at that.
And so that's what we're talking about. Like sometimes
what you think is going to be exactly one thing is like, oh, what happened?
Yeah, you just have to keep pushing the buttons and not be afraid to do that. I'm going to try to. That's not going to work. I'm going to tip it up this way a little bit.
So what a difference a couple buttons make.
Yeah.
So there we have filled in hair with an illustration, and pretty much everything else is there. Her eye maybe needs just a little bit of touch up.
Yeah.
But that's pretty darn good. And
so I'm going to zoom out a little, and then we'll hit the set button and see what happens.
What the heck?
There we go.
I was like, what's happening? So what we could do at this point is we could zoom in and touch up the little spots that we know we want touched up. So
I mean, we wouldn't necessarily make her red, but we could certainly pick
You could-
red. And,
Right.
and then you can see wherever there are lines, right?
it fills in that
it
area.
fills in.
So
I was trying to find a place that didn't actually have a good line, but that worked out. No, we did a good job. Well, I mean, that's
like-
kind of a place, right?
yeah.
So,
Well, that's
there was a
just a
little-
different line from.
but like her armpit's still open.
Yep.
So you kind of just have to.
But basically, that bucket fill, that's where, when I said you could color it in later,
Mhm.
that is where that comes from. So, you would just fill in those different areas and you can touch the different sections. So technically, her,
My watch is trying to help us.
so her pants would be blue with, whoa. Yeah.
There we go.
There's the leg openings that we were talking about. So
Mhm.
even though we had it go up farther, it still didn't do that. So to close that off, if we wanted to, we would actually have to create a line,
Mhm.
whether it be a no-sew line or not. We would have to create a line so that doesn't bleed through into the rest of
Mhm.
that background.
Right, because otherwise it's going to be that's a lot of stitches.
That's a hole in the bucket.
There
that's a
was
really big hole in the bucket.
her leg. That's why that good old undo is really helpful.
Absolutely. That's a funky looking costume she's wearing.
I know it's not great.
It's not, but that's okay. So that is the that's the quick and skinny that's an hour long. So just for kicks and giggles, let's put the crazy
Okay.
Mandela on there just so that they can see. Sometimes they come out better than you expect, and sometimes they come out worse than you expect.
Want to do line?
So again, this is a very detailed design. The edges are cut off based on the printing. I literally had 30 seconds before we came live. So there really isn't a whole lot of I didn't have time to reprint based on, oh crap, the edges didn't print. So it is what it is. But when you have this many lines, you definitely don't want a satin because they're going to bleed into one another. And you definitely want to have that running stitch. Now, we could sit here all day and color this like you would color it in a coloring book and then have that stitched. It's also going to take you all day to stitch that. It would be a lot of even just whatever color you chose to do the running stitches because of how many stitches that this would be. And it'll be interesting to see. It actually picked it up a little better than I anticipated. I think they improved this.
I think it's come a long way.
Because I've done something like this before and it didn't look that good.
So let's just see
But-
what happens. I didn't delete all the
That's
other
okay.
stuff.
Holy crap.
It's not as
It's not as
bad
anywhere
as I
near as bad as
thought.
I thought it was going to be. We're both amazed. Can you tell? So let's zoom in a little bit. That's actually pretty clean. And most
Just-
of those, you've got a little bit of
I keep forgetting to hit the button. Look at
So
that though.
it's
You can't really
actually-
see that. There you go. It actually
fills the spaces pretty well. So, I mean, this would be
not too bad.
it's not too shabby. It's way better than I anticipated. So it's again the clarity of she's like, I'm gonna find one.
So surprised,
I am as well.
right?
But
Wow.
the thing to just for kicks and giggles, see how many stitches is in there. So send it all the way. Just don't make any changes. Just kick it out.
The data is too complicated.
That's what I was
cannot
wondering.
be converted.
That's what I was afraid of, that there was too much going on.
Mhm.
I've seen that error a lot,
Yes.
but I'm surprised.
There's not a lot you can do with that. I mean, you could start erasing some things. Like maybe you could, I don't know. I don't think that it would help
I don't think that's enough to take it
No.
off.
me either.
But anyway, so sometimes what you have is just too much for this poor little program to handle.
Mm-hmm.
So even though the image detection is obviously improved, there is
Try that. Didn't let me change it too much. That's undersewing is off. I wonder if, well, we could obviously do a funny fill.
anyway, that's okay. I was just curious what we were looking at, but the
Yeah, there's not
the
much you can-
stitches, it's basically the error, if you guys didn't see it, is coming up as a very complicated stitch.
Let me do
We used to see that on the Dream, when this design center was first in Destiny, of course, the same thing with the IQ. When it was first created, we used to get that error a lot. Let's just say a lot. It was a challenge to create a lot of designs because it was just overwhelming to get anything that was too many different lines in there. So it certainly has come very, very far. It got past where I expected it to get. So there's probably something that we could do to tweak and do something, but we won't waste your time as we keep pushing buttons. But it's a lot of fun to use these programs. And as you can see, you can really pull in quite a bit of information and use that. How you want to turn that around and make use of it, of course, it's an open book and you can do whatever the heck you want. So knowing that you have the tools and how to make use of them is really half the battle.
Yeah.
So hopefully this opened some doors and opened your eyes to some new possibilities. And
You'll
if
start pressing
you
some buttons.
push the buttons, worst thing that can happen is your machine's going to reboot and you'll just have to rescan.
Or it'll say didn't work.
Or it'll say it's too complicated. Let's try something else. And no big deal. You just go print something else or whatnot. But it is a lot of fun. You know, we certainly have a lot of really great technology at our fingertips these days. And the worst thing that you guys can do is be afraid of it because it can't hurt you. You just got to push the buttons and have some fun with it. So
I can't break it.
If she can't break it, it's safe. So, but seriously, if you have it and didn't know how to use it, hopefully this helped a little bit. If you don't have it and now you want it, let us know how we can help you find it. We're really good at that.
Yeah.
So we certainly have many options here at the shop that we could hook you up with. We actually have some traded in. We have a Dream and a Destiny that should be ready to go home with someone very soon. They're in the back of the store being rebuilt. So we've got a few machines that are previously loved that have this availability. And we have some brand new in the box that we do actually have in stock. So if it's something that you guys would like to play with and you don't currently have it, let us know. We can certainly help you out.
Special financing starting on the 21st. And if you don't already have that card, you can fill out that application right on our website.
You surely can. It's special financing down I gotta remember which
Side,
down the left-hand side of the menu. So yeah, I hope you guys had fun with us this afternoon. I'm sure it'll be Tuesday before we blink all over again. And we'll figure out what we'll do next week. Look for an email this afternoon. Sarah put up a whole bunch of links there and information for you if you would like to check those out. And if you are not already on our email list, you have a little bit of time before I will have that email ready. So quick, go sign up if you're not already, and you will get notified about those free club classes that are coming your way.
Thanks,
So
guys.
We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.